Today I fucked up by getting a lifetime ban from Walmart. My friend and I are both in high school, and we've been hanging out a lot over winter break. Today we were especially bored, and I suggested going to Walmart to look around. After a little while, we got bored of that too. Then an idea hit us. In the back of my car, I have two neon yellow vests. They seemed to match the style of vest that the employees in the parking lot were wearing, so naturally we donned the vests and posed as employees. At first we went unnoticed, and mostly just walked around the store. At one point, an older woman employee asked us if we would help her move some TVs on a cart for her. We agreed, and moved the TVs from the return section to the stocking shelves in the employee-only area in the back. As we walked in, the store's manager, I think, helped us stock the TVs, at which point he noticed he had never seen either of us. Thinking quickly, we introduced ourselves as new employees and shook his hand. He was suspicious, but didn't think much of it. About 10 minutes later, we entered the stocking area once again. This time, a younger woman immediately recognized that we don't work for Walmart. She told us we need to leave immediately, and walked us straight to the exit. As I was leaving the store, a security employee ran up behind me and said something along the lines of, "You think you're funny? We got your pictures right here. Next time you come back to this store, I'll have you arrested." From there, I just got in my car and drove home. A funny twist of events, my mom told me that I have an eye doctor's appointment at the Walmart Vision Center next week. I plan on faking illness to get out of it, so that she never finds out. Too long didn't read. Friend and I put on yellow vests and posed as Walmart employees. We did free labor before receiving a lifetime ban from the store. I have an eye doctor's appointment at this Walmart next week, and my mom doesn't know about this. Dress nice for your eye appointment. Maybe change the part in your hair and be on your best behavior. Ensure your mother is with you. The WM loss prevention folks will never notice you. Hell, they didn't notice that two strangers wearing yellow vests were running around stocking shelves. By next week they will have forgotten you as long as you give them no reason to pay attention to you. Live life on the edge. Wear the yellow vest again. My cousin got arrested and prosecuted for shoplifting at Walmart and then got hired at the very same location a few months later. Now that gives me hope. Ex-retail security guard here. 1. You were just goofing off. But my old store once got ripped off for tens of thousands of dollars in cell phones with a variation of that tactic. That would be why security was pissed. 2. I am 99.9% sure you're good. For starters, my co-workers had a hell of a time picking out known shoplifters, much less annoying teens. Additionally, the corporation I worked for had super strict rules on banning people or calling the police. While it wasn't Walmart, I have to imagine that most national retailers have similar policies in place to prevent lawsuits. This generally includes issuing paperwork to ban someone. I got thrown out of a Best Buy just because I had a blue polo and khakis on. Haven't been back since. Fuck 'em. Edit, this was 2003 or 2004 and a polo and khakis were required by my job at the time. Stop messaging me about my taste. Lamau Walmart loss prevention, they won't recognize you. Hat plus COVID mask equals no problem. Walmart police will never crack the case. This sounds just like that Simpsons episode where Bart shoplifts Bone Storm. Today I fucked up by agreeing to show my bits to medical students. I have a history of inguinal hernias. Basically once I woke up and thought I'd grown an extra ball, put off going to the doctor for ages as I thought it was the big C, turned out it was a hernia and the third ball was actually part of my intestine had burst its sac and found its way to my nuts. I had another one, only this time I knew what it was, so went to the doctor who referred me to the hospital for the surgery to correct it. I went for the pre-op appointment and the surgeon asked if I minded if some medical students were present. Being the British man I am, I just said yeah, no problem mate, not really thinking about it. The next thing I know, he goes out then comes back in with not one medical student but 6. All young folk with clipboards, smartly dressed and smiling. "Okay sir, if you could just stand up and take off your trousers and underpants please," the surgeon said to my abject horror. This creeping anxiety became a full-on panic attack. As I tried not to make eye contact, I undid my jeans and slid them and my boxers down. I literally felt my dick and balls retracting into my body from embarrassment. I wanted to scream, "It's not this small normally." The next 5 minutes were truly awful as they came in for a closer look as the doctor pulled at my balls to show them the hernia. I swear it kept getting smaller by the minute. When I got out of the room I went straight to the toilet to piss. My dick was back to its normal size and I could have honestly punched it. TL, doctor agreed to let medical students in a surgeon's appointment. Ended up showing a lot more than I'd planned. Another med student here. "Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Us medical students are 1,000 times grateful that patients like you help us learn about medicine and caring for patients. 100% promise that no medical student is judging. Honestly, the last thing we'd ever do is judge a patient's body. The only thing going on in our heads is making a differential list, hypothesizing a treatment plan, making sure the patient's comfortable, or focusing on the symptoms. Because of patients, I've gotten to see some really interesting presentations of cases, and it's really helped my ability to better understand medicine. So thank you once again." Testes, 1 2 3? Yup, been there. Only when I agreed it was at the proctologist's having a prostate lump examined. So the students observed manually, their finger one after another. Sounds like a workout. I hope you stretched beforehand. Medical student here. First of all, thank you and all others who agree to let us observe or examine you, etc. It really helps with our learning. You're well within the right to say that you feel uncomfortable with having so many med students there, and I promise you we don't hate on you. Lastly, if we do examine our genitals or have a look at them, I promise we don't gossip about it. Haha. Was a lovely read too. From an outside POV, can also confirm that my friends in medicine have never commented on people's genitals. There's way too much crazier shit that goes down daily for a penis to make much of an impact. Lol. The only time they've mentioned someone's genitals is because the patients deliberately did something with it to sexually harass them. Like grab their hand and make them touch it to feel for symptoms supposedly. Reminds me of labor with my second child. The nurse on duty walks in with my neighbor, small town hospital, whom I'm told is on her very first night of nursing training in the maternity ward. Main nurse checks how far I'm dilated and says you have an ideal cervix for training purposes. Would it be okay if she checks you as well? And that is how I ended up with my neighbor's hand up my vagina. You have an ideal cervix for training purposes. Would it be okay if she checks you as well? Jesus Christ. I'm a bloke and I felt the awkwardness from that one, lol. Today I fucked up by looking like I was trying to lure neighborhood kids. This happened yesterday and I am equal parts amused and mortified. I live in a very average suburban neighborhood. Kids playing in the streets, neighbors are friendly, you get the idea. I recently bought a beat-up old pickup truck. I have a daily driver, but this truck is for home depot runs and the like. Personally I love it, but I have been made aware of the effect it has on people. This will become relevant soon. A few weeks ago a tree went down at a neighbor's house right around the corner from my house. The tree company came and cut it into logs. It's been sitting on the neighbor's front lawn ever since. I have a fireplace, so I've had my eye on the wood. I figured if they're not using it, I can swing by and load it in my truck to chop up. The thing is, I've never met these neighbors. I don't know their names and I never see them outside. So I've just been sort of waiting until I happen to see somebody out front to ask about the logs. Fast forward to today. I'm driving by in my beat up old truck and I see a couple of kids coming out of the house. Two boys, probably 10 to 12 years old. Great, I figure I'll pull over and ask if their parents are home to inquire about the wood. So I pull up on the curb. The thing is, I didn't see them until I was almost to their house, so I guess I pulled up kind of fast. Well, they must have been freaked out by my shitty pickup or my speedy maneuver or whatever, because they fucking bolted the second they saw me. And now I'm in a predicament because I don't want our neighbors to see me speed up and then kids run away like I'm some kind of weirdo. So I roll down the window and say, "Hey, are your parents home? I need to ask them a question." They hear me, I think, but keep running. So now I'm sitting in my shitty truck, waiting to see how this plays out, when it occurs to me that I probably now look really creepy because I'm pulling over fast, kids are running, and I'm yelling at them. So I decide the best move is to sit outside the house for a second to think. I figure it's best to go knock on the door and see if mom or dad are home. So I do. Push the ring doorbell. I also make sure my face is on camera so I don't seem like some creep. The thing is, nobody answers. I shrug and go home, which is literally 4 houses away, and forget the whole thing. Fast forward, 3 hours later, I'm cleaning up after dinner and my wife says, "Hey, there's a cop car outside by your truck." Oh no. Before I make it to the door, he knocks. Yep, you guessed it. Neighbor called to report an attempting luring of her children. Apparently they told her that a man pulled up in an old truck and said that he has parrot and asked if we wanted to see it. What I really said was, "Are your parents home?" Police officer and I had a good laugh. He went over and explained it. Neighbor feels better. Turns out I can have the logs too. TL, doctor, rolled up on some neighborhood boys to ask about their wood and got accused of trying to lure them with an exotic bird. Is the parrot going to be okay? Question mark. So can I see your parrots or not? You kids wanna see my bird? I play Pokemon Go, and back when raids first became a thing I had a map that would show me where the raids were. Playing one day and there is 3 boys on bikes about 10 years old each. They figure out I know where the raids are and start following me. This goes on for an hour and we had started in a residential area, but now we were a long way away in the park by the river. Never interacted with the boys, but because of them I had enough people to beat each raid, so I was happy. One of their phones ring and the boy explains where he is and clearly is way too far from where he's allowed to be, and actually says we followed some guy here cause he showed us something on his phone. Which I never did. They leave. Few weeks later near City Hall and there is one of the kids and his mom. Hey, he's the guy I followed. And then what happened? Rolled up by some neighborhood boys to ask about their wood. This one had me giggling.